700,000 birds are killed every single year by collisions with wind turbines. But one simple trick might be enough to fix that problem. In today's video, we are going to discuss this incredible paper from Ecology and Evolution called Paint It Black, Efficacy of Increased Wind Turbine Rotor Blade Visibility to Reduce Avian Fatalities. This paper, as well as any other links we talk about, will be down in the description. So if you like what you see, make sure to subscribe, like this video, do all the stuff that YouTubers tell you to do. So, let's talk about the issue. Wind turbines. Wind turbines do kill a large number of birds. And when we're talking about wind turbines, just to make sure we're on the same page, because there are different varieties of turbines and different stuff, this is what we're talking about here. Your classical wind turbine that you see in many parts of the world. They do produce great, clean, renewable energy, but they do have unintended side effects. Most notably with the fact that their blades can be very difficult for birds to detect. And the biggest problem with that, which is outlined inside of this paper, is a concept called motion smear. Now, we know motion smear. This is actually a common technique used in animation. And I found this picture of this great Looney Tunes picture that really shows it very well. So in this, Daffy Duck is wagging his finger like this, right? And you can even kind of see this on the camera. Now, to a bird, to it moving, it may seem that, imagine each of these fingers is just a turbine, just a little turbine blade, right? The bird may think that he can go right between these fingers, right? Just go right there, it's free and open. But that's because of the illusion created by that motion smear. It's thought that the birds, because of their vision that is suited more for, flying at high speeds, they may not be able to actually detect this near as well. This is also why they might collide with windows, based on some of the information. And it is true. The problem is that birds do hit the wind turbines, and in many cases they just kind of explode. It's like, for lack of any brevity, they explode when they hit the turbines, of course. But this is where I kind of want to take a side. So we do know that 700,000 birds are killed every single year. But we need to keep this in mind, okay? Because this is often used as an argument against wind power, right? Like, we should not invest into wind turbines because it kills all the birds. But they're like everything, we need to compare it to the alternatives. And much media is very biased on this, and they will talk about how many are killed annually. But the fossil fuel industry kills over 14 million birds annually. And specifically, coal production for the use of energy, so eliminating all the cars driving around as well in fossil fuel. Purely for energy production, coal kills 7.9 million birds every single year. Again, wind turbines, the highest numbers are about 700,000. Most scientists are agreeing with it being closer to 300,000 to 400,000 birds every year. Certainly not a number to scoff at, but 300,000 to 400,000 is nowhere near as much as 8 million. 7 or 8 million. And I also want to note that, yes, you can say it's because coal is a lot more prevalent. We have more coal plants where we have more of coal production. Therefore, it's not a fair comparison to wind production. But if you actually look at it for the amount of birds killed for every gigawatt hour of electricity produced, wind turbines kill 0.3 to 0.4 birds per gigawatt hour, but coal kills 5.2 birds per gigawatt hour. So even at this, not necessarily per capita, but per bird death or bird deaths per gigawatt hour, wind power is just superior across the board. So I always like to say this because this is such a bad argument that is laid out there. But that's still a problem, right? That's still 700,000 birds at the highest amount, at the highest estimates. 700,000 birds killed every single year. And what I loved about this study, they found a 70% reduction by doing one thing. One very simple thing. They painted one of the blades black. That's it. That is it. That is what they did to eliminate that motion smear. And it's because when the three blades are moving all together, that motion smear is very difficult to detect for the bird's visual patterns. If we were moving something around very quickly, it's a lot, you can see this as well. But if you paint one thing, just one different color, you can actually see that movement a lot easier. And they detected this. This is up in, was it Norway, I believe? Norway, Sweden, Scandinavia. We have the study right here, right in front of our face. Norway at Smola Wind Power Plant. This is actually a long-term study. It was, let me check all of our notes. So let's just talk about how the study was actually conducted. So what they had two pairs of wind turbines. One that they painted, one that they did not paint. And what they had, that was awesome, is they actually had data leading up to this for how many birds were killed pre the treatment being painting one of the wind turbines black. And they actually used trained dogs for this. So they were using trained dogs at the start of 2006 and onwards. Basically, the dogs would go out and try to find dead birds. This is no different than like a hunting dog trying to go grab a duck or a quail that had been shot down by a hunter. And they had 7.5 years of data before they treated it and 3.5 years after treatment. And then they also had two control wind turbines. So ones they compare during the study, not just pre and after. So all in all, a very well-designed experiment. And the most common species found hit by wind turbines included the willow ptarmigan, the white-tailed, let me actually zoom in so you can see this, because this is a very pretty bird. The willow ptarmigan, the white-tailed eagle, the common snipe. These were the three most common birds that were found to be impacted by the wind turbines. They also found hooded crows and meadow pipits. Now, I'm going to ignore all the stats. If you're a stats nerd, go into the paper, read it yourself. But ultimately, they found that there was a 70% reduction in mortality just by painting one single wind turbine black. And this study was over a very long time frame with a control, with an experimental why am I forgetting words? They had a control, they had an experimental one, and they put them together to actually figure out these results. So all in all, this is a very short little read, and I thought it was fantastic. Other methods for actually helping out with these wind turbines is to turn off the turbines during migratory periods. They also mentioned tilling the soil, which I wasn't too sure about how that helps. So if you know, please leave it as a comment. But of course, all of this costs money. If you have to turn off the wind turbines, you're not producing electricity. And of course, it doesn't help the non-migratory species that run into it. And they did note that this was very difficult to do because they had to paint the turbines on, well, turbines that were already there. So they said this would be much, much easier if they just painted one ahead of time, right? They also talked about, this is based on some prior research, and the prior research detected, or they tested if other colors or something like red stripes would work. I believe they found that green blades had slight but non-significant visibility advantages over black. So black is the easiest to paint on. You don't have to worry about striping. You just paint one black. So yeah, I thought this was a really cool paper. Wanted to share it with you today. And let me know your thoughts down in the comments down below. Thanks.